Good day and good evening, and welcome to A Realm Reborn Relic Grind with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, tonight, game plan is we pick up a completely new relic from the start and work through it and see how far we get. You know, I'm not going to, I will not be able to complete a whole relic in one sitting. As a matter of fact, I have never completed a Realm Reborn relic. You can actually see here that I have a Paladin relic already in the works, which gives me a little bit of like a sneak peek of what's to come. So I know a little bit of what's going to happen. You can also see here that this is actually a TV show kitchen program, and I cheated a little bit beforehand. Just snuck in 12 gems so that we can skip some part. With that said, hey Taldemar, hey Milo, hey Mizunashi, hey Ceres, hey Ardell, hey Lana, hey Gassel, hey Brandon, hey Camp Viking, hey Kat, hey Agony, hey Death by Chocolate, nice. Hey Sally, hey Ilya, hey Shurakai, hey Vince, hey Brandon, hey Rovgero, and hey Clove, hope you're all doing very well. And thank you so much for celebrating 7 months as part of the Cult of the Pink with me, Taldemar. Now this seems like my kind of jam. It is good jam. And hey Arsenal Megas and Tiana, hope you're doing well. I mean, you can still do that, Arsenal. Let's just say that I have a lot of pre-work done on that particular aspect. I specifically have a warrior relic ready so that I can do that while still progressing a different relic. Like I have done some prep on this. But yeah, the game plan is of course Black Mage weapon. Are you mad? Hey Rillian, hope you're doing well. The books? Well, I finished books on Paladin just the other day. And also, just quick up front here, normally when I do quest lines and such on stream, I usually like read all the dialogue and such. But, well, this is already like the "you want another one" kind of dialogue. But also, if we're doing that, then we're not getting very far tonight. So I'm going to be doing some mashing. I hope that is understandable. Intimidated by books is me IRL, says Cat. Nice. I guess. Hey Steve, hope you're doing well. From a treasure coffer in... Right. It's over here. Should I invite people? I don't know. People might want to be able to like follow along as I do stuff. Easier to do that if they're in my party, but I'm not going to force anyone. Hey Kosari, hope you're doing well. What's the limiting factor for you, Sally? Have you run out of live quest allowance? I can say right now, Agony, that I actually know that, but the amount of time, like actual time it took me to do all the books for Paladin means that even though I know I only have enough allowance for 8 of the 9 books that I'll need to do, I don't think we're getting all the books tonight. I don't think we're making that. That would require that we were supremely lucky with fate spawns and stuff. Oh, right, that's what you meant. That's true. You can't do a live like when you're in party. Do you have the poetics for the books? Of course I do. I specifically made sure to not spend extra like on Alexandrite grind, so that I have the poetics for the books when we get there. Again, I am prepared. I am prepared. I also have this if we, by some impossible means, reach that part. Hey Rust and Sonnen, hope you're doing well. And yeah, exactly, Sonnen. It's not going to be so bad. I'm sure I'll have fun with it, especially because it's something I can do as Black Mage. Sanguine Scepter. Right. Well, step 1 will be try and buy one. Because I'm that lazy. Tax day in the US. Good luck with that. That doesn't sound like fun. Sanguine. Sanguine. Good luck, Vasari. Oh, that's actually kind of cheap. Right. I don't recall. Do I need a specific kind of materia, or do I just need a materia that fits in it? As I got the materia. Oh. Like, just for me? Is for me? Oh yeah, it says that. 2 grade 3 Savage Might. Hey OO, and Raki, and Victor. Hope you're doing well. OO says, what's the best city of Dagradania? I'm guessing you're saying you meant Limsa, and you got betrayed by your phone. I don't really have a preference, but I guess among those 3, I probably prefer Gridania a bit. Thank you. I don't think Gerald knows how you're supposed to meld. What is this? Look, man. You're a good blacksmith, but an optimizer you are not. Hey Ark, and Grotto, and Zaza. Hope you're doing well. Gerald's methods are beyond mortal understanding. Hey, Daskit, hope you're doing well as well. He just melts how he feels, and that feels right to him. Oh yeah, fair enough. I just prefer reliable stats. I don't like the direct hit. That's like new kid stuff. I'm old school. What happened to accuracy and crit? Pah. It's just better to have like reliable, solid stats. Is it just do the dungeon? Or do I have to go there as well? This character was always an order 00. Technically, I made a character one day before this character. That was a cat boy, but that was because small dragons were not an option on the free trial at the time. I will leave the party, I think. Because there's going to be chaos with people in cutscenes and whatnot. That was really early. Thank you so much for the super chat, Camp Viking. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Just back in the day, you could cross-class Savage Blade onto Monk. AR was a weird time of potatoes and nonsense. Yes, correct. I do remember seeing that. That you could straight up, like, cross-class pick something like Savage Blade. And the big question mark then is immediately, or I should not do that synced, is how do you use that? Like, how do you use that? Because you don't have Fast Blade, do you? Oh, right. Torn from the heavens. Why not? Torn from the heavens jump scare. What blades did Monk have to put that on? Well, Savage Blade was a stab. Or a slash. Hey, Dark Phoenix. Hope you're doing well. Lamenting my admin log when trying to do a relic. That's understandable, Das Kid. I have sometimes had cases where I would go and like grind Atma and get like repeatedly over and over, and it's a zone that is just overflowing with fates. And then I go to a different zone where like the fates are a little bit more scarce, and then nothing. It's like the game is just, like, it's laughing at you. It's actively laughing at you. Like, wouldn't it be funny if we had swapped those two? Hey, Fronatos. Hope you're doing well. And no, I did not lose a bet. I just thought this would be fun. It's all... Oh, right. I need to grab this. Yoink. Possibly eventually, Sasa. I'm just like working through achievements and projects, like something to do. You can see, for instance, that I recently completed this. I don't think so, Dark Phoenix, but sometimes Top Chat decides randomly what things go through and don't go through, and I have no idea what its core values are. Oh yeah, now I remember when I wanted to pick up the warrior weapon, I was surprised by how many steps there were before the Atma step. Boink. Dunk. And dunk. Just reloading my instant casts as I run. Take this! Dunk. 4. The trick, Zaza, is just to like do a little bit every day. As I mentioned like very briefly earlier, I don't even have enough live quest allowance to complete the book step tonight. But I already know that we wouldn't have the time to do it tonight. So it's not such a big of a deal. Hey Glaive, hope you're doing well. An M1? An M1 what now? I'm still at the like very first stages on this weapon, Glaive. What am I spending my live quests on right now? Book steps. The reason why I don't really have any is because I basically went, oh yeah, a Realm Reborn relics right when I finished the crafter lives. Oh, is it a gun? I didn't know that. Sorry. Which of you juggle not skip guy and M1 can't? Fair enough, now I get it. Thank you for explaining. An iconic American service rifle with a distinctive feeding system using a clip you insert directly into the weapon that flies out with a distinct ping noise when you're out of ammo. Oh, neat. Yeah, my gun goes swing swung every time it needs to reload, and it randomly reloads a different kind of ammo, as you can see. Also, thank you again for the super chat, Campfire King. It's very much appreciated. And then I have this way to load an extra bullet. Hey Zipzap, hope you're doing well. And hey Naomi, hope you're doing well as well. I don't need to loot anything, do I? I don't think I do. That's really weird. Do the dungeon. It'll work, trust me. free Grand Company seals, though. You're right, but they're not worth that many. Huggy says, now I want the feature that swaps class animation so I can run around looking like a machinist firing flares and it falls out of a hand cannon. Hey Maledictio, hope you're doing well. Thank you. It is weird to me that they're like, yeah, go and obtain this thing. How do you obtain it? Oh, you just do the dungeon. Oh, okay. And then, like, they just hand it to me on the way out. Yep. Just do the dungeon. On Verdant Pond. Well, at least they're all in the same area. Seals turn into ventures for your retainers so they can go rob player houses for their furnishings. Yeah, I've heard that. Bongos. Blam. It really always surprises me that there is that thing where you can see on the minimap where the enemies you need to kill are, because there's so few quests nowadays where you actually need that. Hey Fila, hope you're doing well. What's my favorite dungeon? That is a good question. In terms of, like, the whole experience, I really like Hero's Gauntlet. But it is not the most, how should I say? It's not the most, like, mechanically complex dungeon, but the final boss is really, really interesting. But, like, the whole experience, the lore of it, what actually happens and everything is what makes me say that it's my favorite. AK, hope you're doing well. On your level, is your level A Realm Reborn relics? Oh, like that. You have all the relics in all the in all the expansions, or was it about A Realm Reborn specifically? It's Stormblood, fair enough. Yeah, I have all of the Shadowbringers and Endwalker relics fully maxed out. But the rest, nope. And then I thought, well, if you're just gonna, like, if I was to just work on it for the sake of working on it, then I might as well start from the start. You know, this is mildly easier and faster than when I did this on Paladin and Warrior. Because I just walk in and just insta-kill things at range. Oh. As I was saying, that's really easy, really fast. So that's really annoying, Fila. Did something happen to your laptop? Maybe it could use a little cleaning? But that still sucks. Also, hey, Grand Curator, hope you're doing well. Back in my day, you actually had to walk while doing your AR relics because we didn't have flight. Oh, yeah. Hey, Deletier, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much. Very, very much appreciated. Hey, Seraph, hope you're doing well. Yeah. I have to kill a Hydra with this? With this toothpick? Really? Okay then. And... That was a close fight. You almost had me there. Is it not you need to have it when you get out of the dungeon? I don't know, so I just use the tool all the way to be on the safe side. I just use it. You see, it didn't exactly make a difference, did it? But you're probably right that all it takes is leaving with it. What did it say? No! She left too fast. I call shenanigans. I call shenanigans. That's awesome, Grand Curator, and congratulations on the clear. EX4 is not easy. I wonder... I'm pretty sure I can't do anything. I have to sit through all this, but I'm gonna try something. Hey Moonrinder, hope you're doing well. Does Kid, I imagine that it's... if I remember correctly, don't they take you to extremes later down the line? But also, in fairness, this is something that they've been consistent about throughout the ages for the most part. That they have made sure, whoops, that relic grinds don't require quote-unquote truly hard content. Hey Shackman, hope you're doing well. Well, that is true. If you know what to do, and also the rest of your group knows what to do, I could imagine that EX4 could now be beaten in a single session. Especially if you have some that are doing reclears, or like just farming, so to speak. What's the next step again? Is it... I can't remember. Help? The oven. Alright, it's the same. Right. Thank you. No, there's another Magus. Imagine if relic grinds nowadays, like the newer ones did that, where they just went, you're just supposed to remember that. Why are you not excited for that, Campfire King? Right, and now is when I can do this, right? Hey, Eaterit, hope you're doing well. Just to be sure. Now is the books thing, yeah? Am I just supposed to go there and then they just know? Hello. Hello. Oh, you do know. Fantastic, I think. Oh boy. Get that one first. Hey Phil, hope you're doing well. It's complicated. I have a Paladin Relic in the works, but it is one step ahead. It's genuinely... I finished this step yesterday, like... And yeah, I already have the Atmas. So I just skipped that whole step. The Arise salvages. That's an annoying start. That was there, right? Yes, it was a Grand Company thing. Hey Darth JF, hope you're doing well. The ones that really catch me off guard are the ones where you have to talk with someone to make the fate spawn. Like, I don't know if that one is the fate I need. I'm pretty sure it isn't, as Kay says. Gleaming says, I didn't know the ARR Relics had a whole menu associated with them. One whole menu? I've so far found two. I also have... oh, I can't do that while I'm flying. I also have these ones that open a unique menu. An Imp Mobile. Yoink. Oh yeah, that one, Phil. I actually knew that one because I have done, like, I did because of the Atma farm I'd done. So I knew when I saw the name, I was like, oh, that one. Fantastic. And just like I didn't even check unless I was ready to like be there beforehand. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Fantastic. How about we check these first? Hey Zenny, hope you're doing well. And Krakenmo, hope you're doing well as well. Your inconvenience is lore-based. You've been struck by lore. Hey Skylar, hope you're doing well. Oh. Womp, womp. Anyway. Yeah. F for me then. That one is a two-step fate, and it was exactly the one I needed, and I was there just to see it leave. I was there just in time to go, well... Just to be clear, this is exactly the reason why I started this, looked at my allowance and was like, I can't do all 9 books, and then also thought, yeah, But I don't think we're going to be able to do 9 books in like 3-4 hours or so. So it's probably fine. It's probably not going to make a difference when you really think about it. Yep. What do you mean I have to poke them? Can't I just, It took me way too long to realize that that was an option. Like, so many times I would do exactly what the quest asked me to do, and then be like... At one point, I don't know who, but someone was like, oh, you can just attack them. I was like... You what? You can... really? Just smacked it, I was like, oh. Like, that is quite easy. Right, then... Now that we delivered a live quest, we check if the refresh has given Dobby a live that he wants. One. And then we go to the other one. Need to maximize this. And that's why you don't read quests. Reminds me of when we were doing, I think it was like progressing to reach the near stuff on Small Kai or something. And I had a quest where I had to capture something. Something like that. And I ran up to the mob, hit it carefully, and then everyone that was with me just pounced it. Just deleted it from the map. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. The spell only works if you poke. I cast poke. You know, these kinds of Grand Company live quests, the ones that I really hate, are the ones where they give you 5 minutes and say kill as many as you can, and I'm like, do I need 5 minutes for that? And you'll have found the 3rd and weirdly rarest mob every time. You'll have found it within like 2 minutes. And they could just end it there. Thank you so much for the super chat, Campfire King. Reminds me of the Ridorana Day 1 Red Chocobo Calamity. You know, I kind of experienced that. Kind of. Because I did Orborn Monastery on like the release day of ARR Relics. Or something to that effect. So there were a lot of first timers. Exactly, Dazkid. That is exactly what I mean. It's like, kill as many as you can. Why? Yoink. Yoink. I feel like calling it a threat is maybe an exaggeration. An unexpected threat emerges. Blech. Right, so that was the lives. Now we just have to cycle. I'm not sure what the most efficient way to do this is, but I usually like cycle through the zone, see if the fates are there, and if they're not, then I'll do one of the dungeons that I need to do. Is this like, hopefully some of you will help me with keeping on point with some of this. I believe the enmity of my enemy is one where you have to talk with a guy, and then he gives one fate that you have to do, and then that leads into the fate you actually want. But I believe the other... I don't quite know the other two. So I don't know what to do, other than look them up. But if you know... The other two should just spawn. Alright. So what I will do is I will fly over here-ish. And if it spawns while I'm over there, fantastic. If not, then I'll do one of the dungeons. I believe it's like up here somewhere when it does spawn. Starters left of that boss fight, is it right? Is it there? Right, anyway. Oh man, Tamtara Deepcroft. Hello to Kay's cat. Meow. Hey Zevik, hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's also something you can do. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because I can specifically do the dungeons and then come out as and then possibly the fate I was waiting for is there. But I don't think there's that one way or another is necessarily better. Hey Zokran, hope you're doing well. Also, where can I turn into Xenos at will? Wait, I can? A test of your reflexes! It's hard to say, Zevik. I think it might depend a little bit, on timing and where the targets that you're hunting in between are. Like, if you're hunting random mobs in the specific zone where your target is, then you can, you'll see the fate when it spawns, whereas with a dungeon, you might come out to find that not only you might come out and find that the fate is still not there, because when the dungeon appeared when you went into the dungeon, and it was over before you came out. Like, that's a possibility. Show me your wanted fortitude. Yep. I cast Pillar of Flames and Frost. Do you have the strength? The power to transcend. And now we look. Oh, there he is. I summon my Chocobo companion in face of attack position. We're not doing that. Goodbye. And goodbye. It's time for Thunder Freeze! I don't appreciate you cross-upping me. Thank you very much. Hey, live. Oh, and Opium Den. Hope you're doing well. I would say we're still kind of started on the grind. Look at the name, Kay. Hey, Rythian. Hope you're doing well. That's alright. Yeah. Blep. Oh, Firestarter. Ooh, Firestarter. Explosion! Hey, Maptato. Hope you're doing well. Agent Monica says, I know this is unrelated, but I've been thinking, why is single target dots considered a bad thing? It's because it is a substantial damage loss compared to Raiton, but is a consistently misunderstood thing. Because if you don't quite understand how dots work, or how ninjutsus work, it looks like it's good, but it's not. Just out the box, Doton will add, like, in total, do something around, like, just off memory, is something around, like, 90 less potency than Raiton on single target. But not only that, it takes half a second longer to cast this inferior spell. So So like it's those things combined that makes it so that it's considered so bad. The thing is, a lot of people, like some people exaggerate how bad it is for comedic effect, sometimes me included. But it is generally a case of the people that need to hear it might need to be told, like might need to have that exaggeration to recognize that it is that bad. Just to be clear, Campfire King, Doton is... Well, actually, I can check right now. At max level, it's a little different because there's potency boosts for Raiton. I believe Raiton is 640 or 650 or something like that, baseline. Doton peaks at 7 ticks combined because it ticks once when you place it. So you take 800 minus 240, so that's 560. So it is like a substantial loss to use. That is generally the reason, and as I said, it's simply because some of the players that use single target Doton will, if you brought it up that it's actually better to use Raiton, they might use the fantastic defense known as, well, it doesn't matter anyway. Which is why the quote-unquote effective way to fight that is to really, really lay it on thick when you explain to them that, no, actually Doton mega sucks. To really emphasize that, no, you don't want to do it. You really, really don't want to do that. Because, like, if they're going to come up with a bad excuse, then you might as well come up with a bad reason. Right? And yeah, some people do that. Oh, it's there! For some reason I had put in my mind that it was up there, and there's not even a dungeon icon. I'm not very smart, as you can see. I might be able to make that. Does Kit? It's a complicated question. At high levels, that is what we call AF1 F3P, and you always hold Firestarter to switch into Fire again if you can. If you're going to generate more than one proc, then you of course spend the extra one. At low levels, it turns out that broadly speaking, AF1 F3P is, in a vacuum, it's a damage loss. In a vacuum, it's a damage loss. But, and that's something like in my somewhat recent video on non-standard Black Mage stuff, there's a huge math blob at one point that suddenly appears that goes a little crazy. The long story short on all that is that if your penultimate Fire 1 happens to proc Firestarter, then you can choose to use Flare there and then finish with the Firestarter proc and then transpose Swift cast Blizzard 3 for a small gain. Like this. But, the alternative is, of course, just spend the procs as you get them, and if you're lucky, that's better. Now, if you're not lucky, it's not better. That's what makes it so complicated. But the concept of using Firestarter to get back into Asphalt Fire by transposing in and then spending it, is a damage gain at higher levels. And the reason why it isn't quite that at level 50 is because at level 50, AF3 F3P is your best spell, technically. So all of the arguments that say that holding it to like switch back fall flat, because, oh, you can trade two 125% fire 3s for one 140% fire 3. It's like, yeah, but I actually would want those two 125% fire 3s. They're actually better than anything else I could spend that time on, so yeah, no, I actually want that trade. And that's correct, Kid. It's more consistent to finish with Flare, but if you're lucky, then finishing with Fire 1 on the off chance you get another Fire 3 is technically better. Like, that's a case where you go, well, do I care? Also, hey Patrick, hope you're doing well. I think Milo might be more capable of answering that question. If Milo's still paying attention to chat. Patrick Arraez has a question that you might be better at answering, Milo. Bruh. How did it not get hit? Oh, hey Popular Monster, hope you're doing well. And Asymmetricon, I hope you're doing well as well. Apex, hope you're doing well, and thank you. I think it's going pretty decent. We're slowly working our way through the first book. Sure, Maptato. I don't always view it as a relic zone. I often more view it as like a place to do stuff in general. One of those being the relic. Hey, Ilstaret. Hope you're doing well. I am in the right place, right? Yeah, out on LNSA. I'm not quite sure where it spawns, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Hey, Market. Hope you're doing well. Our best poll was, I believe, 2.6%. And hey Philippe, hope you're doing well. I'm not so sure that we will necessarily get a new tank, but I could view that we'll get a ranged physical. It's also very early to know for sure. My hopes is that we get something unique. The Jester would be pretty interesting. But yeah, all I want, like, what I really care about is not so much a specific aesthetic. I'll, like, if a job is fun to play, I'll play it anyway. But, it needs to be fun to play, and the best they can do there is probably do something that we haven't seen before. Do something that feels stand out among the other options that we have. I stand by that. I still want a dot focused job. That's what I want. Patrick says Beastmaster would be cool. So the thing is, Patrick, we've already been promised we are getting Beastmaster, but it's a limited job. But we are getting that. Can you imagine the physical range memes if they announced Jester? Oh yeah, I can imagine all of those like gradually putting on clown makeup memes that'll appear. You can't stop me from being a clown. It's my job. Hey Alex, hope you're doing well. Well, do we have anything in this zone we need to kill anyway? We do. Fantastic. Could you imagine if they actually added Gambler or something to that effect? It better scale well with crit and direct hit. That's also a good point, Phil. Based on the statement that they want to focus on unique jobs, as in presumably that they don't want to keep making jobs that are like, well, a different Final Fantasy has it. If that is something that they truly stand by, then we can, if they absolutely definitely are going to do that, then we can basically write off any job that has ever existed in a different Final Fantasy game. Just immediately, just Gambler, that already exists. Jester, that I believe there is Juggler, but it's dressed like a Jester in Tactics Advanced, for instance. So they could do something else with it, but like anything with a job title is something that we've already seen. We would have to go, well, they said no. And to your question, Taldemar, honestly, the reason why I'm saying I don't think we're getting another tank, but then immediately went on to say, But a ranged physical would be nice, is because I count 4 here, 6 here, 4 here, you don't count, and 3 here. Put 4 there, boom. That's the reason why I'm like, nope, no tank, but a ranged physical, probably. And that's also true, Phil. They could absolutely make something that is like a mix of things that already exist, but isn't like nail or like nail straight on of what it would be. Like they had to come up with a different name to make it work. What level is this Make It Rain? I believe I saw that it was a level 41. So it's probably not in the mines. Wait, was it on the map? Oh, okay, thank you. I'm just saying I was in the mine because there was a target to kill. But thank you, and sorry that I didn't see it. That's always annoying. You're like streamers like, oh, I wonder where the thing is, and everyone in the chat is like, go left. Just try it. Just go a little bit left. You might actually like it. But how will I ever find this thing that I'm looking for? And you're sitting there like... Just turn your camera a bit. Boom, there you go. Alex says, where did you get that wings mount? It is from the first extreme in Dawntrail. Fantastic. Now we can safely wrap up the enemies. Do we have other Lanacea things? Yes, we do. You know, I was actually expecting to find that when I quickly Googled it, Opium Den. 9 to 5. Never mind. Oh. Yeah, exactly, Darth JF. Go left. No, no, wait, no. Go back. No, go right now. The streamers, they're like, ah, you're all confusing me. We made it in the end. Because you told me and really grabbed my attention with it, I saw it exactly when it spawned. No, the other left! When does Cosmic Exploration come out again? Isn't it in like a couple of weeks? If Aradil is in the chat, they would probably know. Oh, it's even closer than I thought it would be. Oh boy. Let's do Kurthus next. Thank you, Aradil. Yeah, I think that's right, Phil. I just couldn't quite remember if it was in 1 or 2 weeks. Dun 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 dun. Boulder Downs. Boulder Downs. There's a lot of fates here. It's a giant reader. I really wonder what the story is there. Loggers, loggers, and readers. Soon they will be civilized. Oh no. Do I have to kill something off here to actually find another logger? Hey, Nicholas. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Shaq. Hope you're doing well as well. God, James says, I wonder what giant readers like to read. I like big books and I cannot. What's the grind going? Well, we are on book number 1 out of 9. Oh, there's one! Also, hey, Red Mail and Space Queen and Andrew. Hope you're doing well. Is it really the worst part? I've only gotten one part further than this on my Paladin weapon. And, treasure maps, I was glad that I didn't have to go like into a portal or anything to get the results that I needed. But treasure maps always give me the oh no. But fair enough. I guess having to wait for fates is what really elevates it to be terrible. It went from bad to worse. Oh, I know that feeling, Space Queen. At least it's not too bad. You can just try again tomorrow. I believe the daring harriers are like over there. A lightning bolt. Hope you're doing well. East Shroud, then. Nicholas says, I will say mounting will, while being able to run, is a change that still has me adapting to it. It's pretty funny. I have always used, like, as my favorite mount. I pretty much always used my Ruby Copy mount. Then when Dawntrail gave us a Manatee mount, then I was like, well, I'm having that. But then now that we can run and mount, I feel way more compelled to have something that almost looks like it just grows out of you. It has this effect of like, you're just running and then going like, ah, wings! It feels like the milk root clusters I had trouble finding last time as well. Hey, Midi. Hope you're doing well. Oh. Vince says the 4 parallel quests of Zodiac Braves is pretty rough. I haven't looked far enough ahead on that. Does that mean that there will be a quest where I basically have to, like, have a ton of company seals on hand for that? So in that case, I should probably make sure to, like, not spend my entire stockpile of stuff. Well, then you get this one, I guess. One item for it alone is 20,000. Oh, and you need 4, so 80. Alright. That does not leave a lot of space. Yeah, miss. Miss. Okay, well, explosion! Boom! You need 1,500 poetics for the Alexandrite step as well, if I recall correctly. You need 75 Alexandrite. So you need 15 maps. And one map is 75. If that's the only way you're getting them. So you would need... I believe you need less than 1,200? Just slow math. But yes, that is something that I'm also trying to keep track of. That's also like that's a reason why I had like just barely over 900 poetics as I started this is because I've been trying to make sure to stay over that, and then I forgot a few steps that cost a little bit. OO says, what's the most toxic encounter you've had in this game with a player? Back in Shadowbringers, I went into Expert Roulette. Well, I believe technically at the time it was just level, it was just like level cap dungeons. I think it was called something else at the time. As healer. And no, wait. Not Shadowbringers. Endwalker. Same deal. I believe I was there as Sage. And I landed in Dead Ends. Which is a pretty rough dungeon just on its own. Like, it's really easy if everyone's bringing the heat. But let's just say that my tank seems to have decided that he didn't have to do anything. So... Oh? Huh? What is this? Oh. You don't have space for the die. What is this? Is this for quest? Oh, neat. Thank you. I can't quite place the name with the chat, with the people in the chat, so I'm not sure who gave me that, but thank you so much. Wait, that's your character, okay, sorry. Did you change the name? I really feel like that name doesn't ring a bell for me. Did you change your character name? Or am I just stupid? It is possible that I have the stupid. Ah, right. Well, thank you so much. Right, to the story then. We go into the dungeon, and it seems that the tank has decided that he does not want to use defensive cooldowns. Which makes the first pull a nightmare for me. So I asked if they could, you know, maybe consider use a few defensive cooldowns. And then on the next pull, the only thing they did was use Living Dead right on pull when they were nowhere near dead. And if memory serves, that was before they had changed Living Dead. So it was kind of, like, completely pointless. I managed to make our party survive anyway, because I'm just that good. And then pointed out that that Living Dead was, first of all, kind of pointless, and almost felt like they were mocking me. And again requested that maybe they use some more defensive cooldowns that actually do something. I said it in a more polite way, I would say. And then they said, you don't pay my sub. And then they died like 3 times on the first boss, ultimately leading to a wipe. And then the weird thing that happened was that the 2 DPS players apologized to the tank. I don't actually know why. And then I had had enough and I left. Straight up that I just left. Like, nope, not having this. Not doing this. And it was like 30 minutes before the daily reset. So, like, if the group wasn't bringing it, we were not going to make it. And, like, they were clearly not bringing it. And I was not going to put up with those shenanigans. I was just not. Just, nope. We're not doing this. And I usually don't leave dungeons. So you probably understand that I was pretty mad when it got to that. Hey Jojo Mojo, hope you're doing well. But that was probably my most toxic encounter that, like, sticks to memory. Yeah, indeed, Gazel. That was part of the reason why I felt compelled to leave so suddenly was there was no logical explanation as to why the rest of the team felt like apologizing to the tank who was basically failing. Like, there was no good explanation. So I assumed that it was like a squad there to be funny. And that's also where my advice originates from, with the whole, when people say you don't pay my sub, when I give advice to people on how to deal with that. The advice that I give on that originates from me sitting there thinking, oh, I should have done that. Oh, it would have been so funny if I had done that instead. And then I just didn't. Hey Ian, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much. We need to form a league of noobs who all just travel to Ether to party, find, and raid to learn from people who are comfortable with beginners. That, I mean, that's a funny you should mention that, because technically, to some degree, you could argue that mental roulette is supposed to be that, isn't it? Hey Ryan, hope you're doing well. Perfect. Let's just do this fate here while we're here. Oh man. No! 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 The thing is, Phil, and I think I've mentioned this before, but the thing is, how do I put this? Humans have a tendency to latch onto bad experiences much better than good experiences, which means that someone could have 20 good experiences with mental roulette, rather extremes in mental roulette, and then have like maybe 2 or 3 bad experiences, and those bad experiences weigh way more than the good experiences, which means that it doesn't take very long for a mentor to possibly sour on the experience if someone, like, if they have like jerks in their group or people that are unprepared and so on. Like, it really adds up quickly. So that's one thing, but there's also the part that, let's just say that, so some of you may have been here when I did the Mentor Roulette live a couple weeks ago. We had an Ifrit Extreme there, where the only players that were having trouble were both healers who were standing in the middle with Searing Wind. And everyone was telling them that they had to go out of the middle. And what we got in response was one of the healers complaining that people took too much damage instead of them actually reacting to that advice. For a lot of extremes, it takes like one jerk to make it a million times harder for everyone else. And you only have to see so many jerks before it really ruins the experience. So that those kinds of things lead to the situations where, like, you're zone into an extreme and there's a mentor that is like, before you even pull, they're already mad. Like, they already hate you because you had the audacity to queue for an extreme. And that's also the reason why, and I think I brought this up in the one, I believe it was the Machinist one recently, with Nidhogg Extreme, somewhat recently. That's like a month ago, I think. Where I was playing Machinist, and I landed in the same Nidhogg group multiple times. And it wasn't even the same group, because they queued, like, they left and then queued again. And my complaint wasn't, don't queue. My complaint was, if you're going to queue, then you should at least sit it out. You shouldn't give up so easily. And do your homework. Mentors are not put into this game to do that for you. In fact, if you read the description of the Mentor Roulette, it says a mentor-oriented duty will be selected at random from among those you have unlocked. Successful completion will earn you far greater reward. It doesn't say anywhere that you're supposed to teach anyone anything. In fact, if you ask the smith, you know, the guy with Hall of the Novice, he will explain to you what the Mentor Roulette is. And the only thing they say is that sometimes people are going up against difficult challenges and need people. Mentor Roulette is literally the warm bodies queue. That's all you are. And then you get rewarded for actually trying. So anything you can do to make it more likely the duty is completed, fantastic. But all you had, you're just there because no one else would. So you should really, you know, at least have done your homework on the extreme duty you're queuing for, if you're queuing for one. The problem is, of course, that we all need to have our first run-in with an extreme duty. Right? I was that guy once. Back in Stormblood, my first experience with extreme was, oh, I have this quest where I have to do this duty called Minstrel's Ballad, Ultima's Bane. Ah, well, I remember Ultima Weapon. That was not too bad. Like, it's just a quest. I'm sure it'll be fine. And it didn't, like, ding on the radar that there was something wrong when the queue was insanely long. We got into the duty. I learned that the boss had a tank switch mechanic, but before actually respecting it, I was like, well, let me see if I can invuln it. Because I was Paladin. Spoiler alert, you can't. And after that try, people started leaving. Like, we had done like 2 or 3 tries. It was apparently a lot harder then. And people started leaving, and that was when I realized that, oh, I should probably not queue for extremes. And everyone individually need to be allowed to have that experience of, oh, that's really hard, actually. But at some point, admittedly, the mentors that get dragged into that will reach a point where their patience runs thin. They're like, yeah, I know everyone needs to have their first run-in with an extreme to understand that, oh, they should probably have done some homework, and it's not something you just queue for. But at some point, the players that get dragged into it get tired of it. Nicola says, WoW has random queues for dungeons, but no one uses it, as far as I know. That's what you use to level with, mainly. But yes, they do have that. But not to the... Not even close to the same degree that Final Fantasy XIV has. Heroes of the Second. Oh! And thank you, Aridil. Orion says, I would still like to try getting the EX2 wings at some point, but having never done any extremes, I'm kind of reluctant to do so with randoms. I'm surprised you've never done an extreme, Orion. Really? I'll say EX2 is... It might be difficult to find groups for that, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. Because people would be occupied with EX4 now, more likely. But EX2 is, I would say, you do your homework, know what the fight is, and then it's pretty much smooth sailing. Like, it's a duty that is easy, quote-unquote, easy enough that, like, as long as you know your position, all you need to know is which one is yours. Like, are you the main tank? Are you the off tank? Are you healer 1 or healer 2? That kind of stuff. And then you're pretty much good. Two is crazy person. Hey Tay, hope you're doing well. Hey Yannick, hope you're doing well as well. Shax says of the 4 extremes, 2 so far 2 is the most boring. Yeah, I suppose so. But that would probably also make it the easiest, question mark? Oh, nice, Yannick. That's going to be really rough when you if you one day choose to try and play it. Oh, nice. Play it in a real duty. Like, I don't know how to use any of this toolkit. What do you mean I'm level 100? I've only used this in Palace of the Dead. And they're like, in Palace of the Dead? I'm sure this will be fine. Ow. I just wanted to be left alone while punching crates. It's gonna be hard when there's so many coming at me. You know, something that I also really like about EX1 Agony is that it has a splitting path in its encounter, which I feel like is somewhat rare. Where is the last crate? I'm looking for a crate. Rare. He loses points for not saying no more games. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be one more crate. Where the crates at? Hello? Eh? Oh! Thank you for the tip, Vince. I didn't even know any of the enemies actually progressed it, but it's good to know. Okay, the no more games is Byakko. No more games. Roar, rise, rage! And then he spits out orbs. Well, this one will be down here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Eat lollipop pizza. Hope you're doing well. And, well, I guess have a good day at work. Brave flocks long stop. Brave flocks long stop. Hey Mandalore, hope you're doing well. This is what real Final Fantasy XIV looks like. It looks like a pink small dragon just instantly decimating things as she rushes through a dungeon. Dun 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 dun. Small dragon, Mandalorian, not fox dragon. Yeah, Cat spent a lot of time trying to get duking it out with Caetsu because I had the audacity to suggest that it wasn't possible to solo it synced, and Cat took that personally. Can you fly faster, Ayeta? And just to add insult to injury, I hadn't left combat yet apparently, so my sprint was cut in half. Hey, Red Master, hope you're doing well. And congratulations. Nope, no South Tide Gate yet. Well, Philippe, that is difficult to say. Best you can do is just try more jobs. By the way, I think I missed you earlier. Hey, Eva. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Philippe, the best you can do is just try things. Eventually, something will probably stick. Who would win a whole mechanic where you need to kill 2 ads or else you die versus a barrier? Well, if the barrier is big enough. I'm a bit confused, Philippe. Did you say you have almost everything at 50 and then you're talking about Viper? Also, congratulations, Ian. Did I forget an oil? I did. But yeah, there's also always the possibility that you'll change your mind and want to play something else as you go along. When I got into Final Fantasy XIV, I ended up maining Red Mage initially, and then I swapped a little bit between Paladin and Dark Knight and White Mage, I think. And then in Shadowbringers, I played Dark Knight a bunch, and then I ended up maining Summoner. And initially, at least, in Endwalker, I was playing Summoner. But again, things swapped around a lot. Ow. Well, yeah, in Dawntrail I spent quite some time with Warrior as well, but now I'm playing Black Mage. All the time. Hey Darth, hope you're doing well. They made Black Mage so easy that even I can play it now. Well, I mean, I would say I'm reasonably good at it. But, yeah, in a way, it was more like it's easy enough that I can play it at a level where I feel confident that I'm good enough in hard content. It's good in Palace now. Hey! Is it? Like just like I mean, like, is it good, or is it just, well, it's not garbage? Nope. Still no fate. I think depending on our luck, we'll get like 3 or 4 books done tonight. Save a hop for the fates goes much faster. That is a good idea, Rocky. That is something I could try, but right now I'm just doing other tasks as well. That is a good point. Glad you clarified, Kay. What? Are you suggesting that Kay doesn't have a separate copy of you? Specifically for Kay and only Kay? Ow. I don't know why I ended up using Fire 1 for that. That was stupid. Sasquatch is without steel. Burst, sleep, repeat. Oh, that... Oh, you just go full blast on it, and then when it reaches you, sleep, and then you move away, and then you burst it again? Like that? Pasta and broccoli. I mean, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty neat. Can you make some for me as well? Reload. Hey gamer, hope you're doing well. I would say I'm doing well. I'll eat for 2. Fantastic. That works for me. How did I manage to get completely flip-turned like that? Huh? Also, thank you for celebrating 15 months as part of the Cult of the Pink. Thank you so much for the support, Cat. By your own broccoli. That... You got me there. Well, that's where we are. Western Lanacea. Good luck, gamer. I'm sure you'll do great. Did that guy just start to phase into the floor? Attack! And then... Well... Let's just go on a little tour to find all the monsters we need to fight and then come back. Nice, Aldemar. Congratulations. Eva says, my casual FC is planning on doing the level 70 extreme first to try and prep for the Unreal. I mean, that is a way to do it, but wouldn't it make more sense to just do the Unreal itself? Wouldn't it? I mean, if it works, go for it. Yeah, let's go Madonna next. We only have one thing in Madonna. Just one. And it's not in the way I'm going. Even this might just jump straight into the Unreal. The Extreme might be mildly easier, but ultimately, like, the clear of the Unreal is what you're actually going for, and it's the same mechanics, so just going straight forward probably makes more sense. And also you get to have your level 100 toolkit instead of level 70. Were they heavy, Campfire King? Full of treats. Those are big dogs. It aggroed me through the wall. That's annoying. Oh, I mean, Aoife, the argument is mainly that if you're doing the extreme to get like a softer start, like, the thing is, it's not going to be that much softer. It's the same fight. It's meant to just be balanced for level 100 instead, right? So the main benefit of doing it at level 70 instead of 100 would be, like, if people don't actually know how to play their job at level 100, then it's a problem. But if the plan is to practice at level 70 to then go to level 100, then you might as well just practice at level 100. Like, that's the idea. Oh, hi. The Proud Creek. Well, the thing is, Sally, if it is a casual FC, then, like, this is the kind of stuff that they might enjoy trying. Back in, like, most of Shadowbringers, I was in what I would consider a casual FC, and there were many times where, like, they would, like, plan something that, like, when you knew who was there and who was not, you could be like, yeah, this is probably not going to work. But if you don't even give them a chance to try, then they'll never know. So you might as well, you know, try it. It might be fine. As Eva said, people have been doing old extremes so far, so they're probably not, like, terrible. But Unreal might be a significant challenge. Which might be a good thing when you really think about it. A definition moment? There's another one. Imagine just being these mobs that I'm fighting or hunting. They're just having a grand old time, just having a talk with a good friend, and then suddenly, lightning! Are we the bad guys? Sometimes, maybe. They're also sylphs, which makes it very ironic. Yeah, purple lightning suddenly strikes, specifically. These guys are fantastic at naming areas. We have Zanarak and Zaharak. They perfectly metered it out so that it looks almost like the same name. Oh yeah, Samarak. Maybe that was how they came up with the name. Inspiration from here and there and everywhere. Who knows? Let's check one more time. That should be it. It should turn into the one that we need, I'm pretty sure. And gauging the time there, I'm pretty sure it appeared right when I left. You know, there's something ironic about if there was ever a place where you would find odd timers and whatnot in Final Fantasy XIV, like unusual stuff, it would be in A Realm Reborn. Which means, in a weird twist of fate, if there was ever a place you would find non-traditional things, it would probably be in A Realm Reborn, which should be the most traditional, shouldn't it? Like, big emphasis on should. Rob Guerrero says, what's the highest difficulty of content you think a player could reasonably solo? There's not really any easy way to gauge that, because it depends. It mainly depends on, like, DPS checks. So anything, really. But it depends on if there's a DPS check. I was getting confused because that that thing there at the end took a while to appear. I'm like, did I not finish? Oh, just to make sure we don't talk past each other, as I can see, I believe what Rob Guerrero meant wasn't necessarily like soloing from level 1, but rather like at any point, what would the hardest content you'd be able to solo be? That's at least how I understood it. Well, either way, I will be right back. In the meantime, sanity restored. Alright, I'm back. Well, the fate that I needed here didn't spawn in time. So back to fates for a bit. Tells us the final BG3 update came out today. Oh, I have heard about that. I wasn't sure when it was coming or exactly what was in it, but one thing that I know for certain is in it, I think, is the Hexblade. Because, man... There's a lot of talk about the Hexblade. Congratulations, Jojo Mojo! Yeah, it takes a while, Liv. As I said, I finished that one recently. And I actually had one of the books in my inventory for weeks at least. If you put it that way. The worst part is that the book step is nerfed too. What was it? What was it before? More enemies to kill? As in you needed more than 3? Or was there like even more things you needed to kill? It was 10 of every enemy? Oh, that's really obnoxious. And 5 lived. What? Well, that means that they had to change the visual. 10 of every enemy on that list is really obnoxious. Because most of the time there is like 3 in the area. So you'd have to kill everything and wait for respawns. Exactly, Kay. We actually had that earlier when I was like making jokes about the loggers, was exactly because there were 2. Hey Louis, hope you're doing well. People were fighting over the mobs. If you're in party with someone and they kill the mob, don't you get credit for that? Only if you tagged it. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is one big problem that they solved. Eh? Every step of the ARR Relic has been nerfed except maybe the... Well, the materia step has been nerfed indirectly. I believe Strat mentioned that back in the day, like grade 4 materia was insanely rare and expensive. You know, both because it was the highest grade, but also because it wasn't until sometime Shadowbringers that they made it so that you extract materia instead of convert to materia. So actually producing grade 4 materia was insanely obnoxious and grindy. Congratulations, Posio Miko! And thank you. We got to 2.5% last week. So soon, hopefully. Soon. Oh, it was more like the example of it, Liv. There's also the part that... Remember that, like, nowadays, as I understand, you could put whatever in the weapons because it's a glam, right? The stats don't really matter that much. you just need the weapon, and then you can move on. But back then, like, if it was actually your best weapon, you probably wouldn't want to put piety into your, I don't know, warrior weapon just because it was cheaper. Which could mean that the stat you wanted the most, you kind of had to put in really high grades to make it work. So it could quickly become quite expensive. Piety Dragoon, new meta. It is weird, actually, to me, that there are so many magical things that jobs do that doesn't cost MP. Like, if you really think about it, broadly speaking, imagine if the Dragoon had, like, some of its more magical attacks cost MP. But, like, a relative, like, a symbolic amount of MP. It wouldn't matter. Even if you just got rest, if they make the cost low enough, it'll just be like, oh yeah, that's a pretty funny flavor, I guess. It makes sense that Dragonfire Dive costs something. Like, things like that. And yeah, a lot of jobs could probably benefit from either just, like, either having no MP bar, like it's just gone, or like their main gauge is replaces the MP bar or something like that. I mean, that could probably work, Space Queen, but there is something to be said that you only generate 200 MP per 3 seconds while in combat. And you do get a Star Diver every minute, so, like, that could actually be a problem if you died. Like, if Star Dive is that expensive, then the rest would have to be not too much more to, like, not break the bank. Although I guess you do generate, like, 4,000 per minute. So yeah, that is actually also fine. Now that I think about it. Oh yeah, I did hear about that, Phil, and I also saw a little bit of it. That looked ridiculous. Also that, Yazel. Also that. Weird that all jobs use TP because of sprint, but not all jobs used MP. That also vaguely reminds me of... So I have mentioned Crystal Project before, which is like... It's an indie game that is like old school Final Fantasy, but modernized. Has like aggro management and so on and so forth. But it has a Final Fantasy mod, which features, like, replaces the jobs with even more, like, Final Fantasy focused jobs. And a thing that the base Crystal Project doesn't really do, that this mod does, is all casters have something that can spend, I believe it's called AP? Basically TP, right? On something. Not much, but something. And all melees that otherwise wouldn't have anything they could spend MP on has something. Like, for instance, Warrior can use MP on Bloodbath and Inner Release. So that they can make it so that the opposite resource to what you're normally supposed to be using can be used as some sort of, like, luxury resource. Later in the game, it just becomes, like, you figure out ways to, like, overcome that problem. With passives and items and whatnot, but it does mean that when a warrior initially unlocks Inner Release, it's like, yeah, you get one per fight at most, assuming you use like ethers and stuff after the fight to, like, get MP back. So, like, it makes it valuable in a way. And yeah, also play Crystal Project. It's a good game. So there's two, just both Ridley and Liv. Oh, Crystal Project mentioned. It's a good game. Like, if you like old school Final Fantasy games, this one is like, that has a lot of those things, but a lot of the things that would make those old games annoying, it has resolved. Telly says, I feel like Crystal Project nearly earned a spot on the bingo card at this point. I feel like I haven't mentioned it in months. So I feel like it's one of those things where it feels like it makes sense to have it on the bingo card, but then it doesn't get mentioned for months. There was a period where I basically mentioned it almost every week or almost every stream. And I think like 3, 4, or 5 people in the Discord bought the game around that time. So, I mean... Do it again. It's a great game. Did you get a cut? No, I didn't. I'm not even sponsored. Ham, here's a fun fact. I've only done that, like... I did it once for realsies, and then on my second playthrough a while back, I used the assist feature to allow me to auto-win the races after I got bored. And after that, my subsequent playthroughs, I've used a mod that just allows you to skip that. Because it's fine once. The Quinta breeding part of the game is like, a lot of people point to that as like, it's technically optional. Technically, but not really, but technically. And a lot of people point to it as like the big like valley in the game, like that's where it gets really rough, but the rest of it is great. Oh! Run! Fly! Hey Custard, hope you're doing well. Crystal Project on Steam. Also, someone earlier asked if I had played Final Fantasy 16. I have not. I had considered getting it, but then first it released to, you know, PS5, and by the time I even had the option to get it, it was like, you know, now I'm doing other things. So. Yeah, exactly, Ham. It's not that bad. Some of them, I will say that because of the way that it's set up, that you have to win it with each of those quintas you want to breed with, you are put in situations where, like, you basically have to cheese it because one of the opponents has an objectively superior quinta to yours. And yeah, you can learn how to beat it, but once you've beaten it like once or twice, it starts to get a little bit obnoxious and tedious. But yeah, that is part of the reason why I never really got around to Final Fantasy 16, is that is the problem with exclusive releases, is that when it finally like releases generally, a lot of the hype of the game has sort of like died down. So like you might go, oh, is that game finally on PC? Okay. Well, I'll figure out when I feel like playing it. Return to Cinders. Yeah, exactly, Phil. Okay, I guess I'll get it on sale at some point. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that as some sort of suggestion that Final Fantasy 16 is bad. It looks awesome. It looks great. It's just... I'm not exactly someone who's that caught up in missing out in that aspect. So I'm just like, well, I mean... I missed it when it was new. At this point, it doesn't matter when I get around to it. Not that it necessarily mattered before, but it definitely doesn't matter now. New Sunken Temple of Khan. Are you ready? That was old like? Well, in the old version, this guy would chase you and you had to make sure it died on the platform. Now it's stuck to it. Same about these guys, although technically these were optional, and if you just ran far enough, they'd reset. The first boss's casts are also slower, so it's easier to stun. They changed it in 7.2. Did they leave the Doom Hornets in? Yes. And the last boss has also been significantly changed. Personally, the heads being like just taped onto their platforms is like whatever to me, because it's like, if you don't know that that's what you're supposed to do, then yeah, that's mildly amusing to figure that out, but there's usually one person in your group that knows that that's what you're supposed to do. And at that point, it's just really obnoxious, because they just have this tendency to like shuffle out of the platform just as they're about to die. It's just annoying. But the last boss, I feel like that's a downgrade. I like the old version better. I don't know if the last boss is necessarily easier for the changes, but it's just the removal of the weirdness of it didn't feel like an improvement, at least. I'm going to guess that the return to Cinder is somewhere here. It wouldn't surprise me if it's over here. That there is disturbing. There's a soldier just boom, dead. Just, oh, that guy's dead. Hey, Yusuf. Hope you're doing well. It's just Black Mage. We're trying to get as far as we can. Zane Knight, hope you're doing well. Wow, Zeref, that sounds like a time at least. Oh, the key's over there. Excuse me? Anybody home? The small dragon can't cause a calamity. She is one. I cast Paradox! Blab. Oh, it didn't even enter combat. I just jogged straight through. I didn't even enter combat. When the boss dies so fast, he can't even stop you from just jogging through the room. Oh boy. I cast Paradox Smash got to an ultimate from an old DBZ Budokai game. Blap. Hey Vash, hope you're doing well. Blarg. Do we have the return to Cinders? Nope. Well, we'll keep beating up dungeons until morale improves. Is there a return to Oblivion? Nope, not that either. Kaboom! Oh, well. When the single enemy survives the thunder. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm telling you, this is weirdly more convenient than Paladin, because on Paladin, to make it as fast as possible, I had to like intervene mobs to like get myself further ahead. I don't have that option here, so I can just like casually stroll through the dungeon and just make sure things are dead. Because it says, did they change this dungeon too? They changed the normal version of the dungeon, but not this version. I changed about normal. All 3 bosses have been changed. The first boss is not just a loot pinata that summons in irrelevant ads. It's still very easy, but it's a little bit more of something. The same applies for the second boss. The final... Well, actually, I mean, they have been... It's hard to explain because all 3 didn't get changed that much. The best way would be to go and see it. When I did the most recent solo challenge stream, I did Uewata Field Station solo, and then I think we tried M1N, and I concluded I couldn't do it. Not with Warrior anyway. So we gave up on that. And then we went and soloed the, at the time, new Halatali with Summoner. And there you would be able to see what changed. Although you would see it from a solo perspective, so it might be, like, strange, I guess. When do we get Ultima? I have a feeling we'll never get Ultima. Oh. Thank you, Aerodil. When will Praetorium get its nerf? What? I mean, I'm pretty sure I can't remember, was it Shadowbringers or Endwalker that they made Praetorium a 4-man duty? And took Porta de Comana out of it. Which is my way of saying they already did. It was an Endwalker. Thank you, Darkrid. The time in that dungeon is atrocious. Is it that bad? The thing is, Louis, just to be clear, back in the day, MSQ roulette and those MSQ duties themselves didn't give nearly as much as it does now. But back then you could skip all the cutscenes. Then we ran into the problem that players had gotten so fast at clearing the duty that if you had a few players, like genuinely a few players watching the cutscenes, then you could still clear the duty so fast that before the first cutscene had finished, you had reached the next one, which would mean that the players that were actively watching the cutscenes would skip them because the game would be like, well, you're already in a cutscene. And then you would get this weird jank where, like, it didn't actually line up properly. And reasonably shortly after that, they mega boosted the rewards from MSQ Roulette. And then disabled the ability to skip the cutscenes. Which is to say, it became longer and the reward scaled with it. So, imagine, Louis, imagine a world where the duty is a third of the length. And then you're probably thinking, oh, that sounds awesome. But then also the rewards are a third of the quantity. And now you can't make a cup of tea in it anymore. ARF is pretty wild, yeah. I know that I did Praetorium for the first time when you could skip cutscenes. That's for certain. Because I didn't actually see the cutscenes until they didn't let me skip them, because I felt bad watching them while everyone else was playing. You can see how I understand that other people feel like that too, right? That's correct, Jojo Mojo. The more kosher strategy for skipping the cutscene is if you can get yourself disconnected, like just cut your connection to the internet, so you get forced out to the logins, like to the main screen, and then connect back to the internet again. Then you can, like, when you get disconnected, you have skipped the cutscene. And that strategy, by the way, was starting to really take flight shortly before they made it into a 4-man duty. So in a way, every time something wacky started really happening with the duty, they changed it. And also that's true, Phil. It is actually something you should be careful with doing. Although I don't think I know anyone that has been banned for that. But yeah, keep that in mind. Hey Flo, hope you're doing well. And hey Squall, hope you're doing well as well. I had expected that we'd get like 3 books done. But this is the 3rd book. But also, by the way, when they made it a 4-man duty, they actually shortened it. Like, you know the part where after you go through, like after the first boss, first of all, there used to be a cutscene there that just isn't there anymore. And second of all, that whole like blocked off thing to the right when you're like on your way to the second boss in Castrum Meridianum. I forgot to mention that I was talking about Castrum Meridianum. That whole blocked off section, you were supposed to go there and bomb something. There's a ton of mobs. After that second boss, which was also different, as I recall, there was a whole sequence where you had to, like, pull a whole bunch of mobs. Like, where Sid comes at you is actually, like, the things behind him as he breaks through that wall is a whole section of the dungeon that they removed. And also that, Cape Westwind used to be a thing. That it wasn't a solo duty. Although that was, something else. The thing is, Custard, if that was implemented so that you could skip them if everyone in the duty has already seen them, for instance, then it would of course just make it meta to never queue for MSQ roulette unless you were pre-made. And then the queue time for, you know, sprouts would massively increase. And it would also have the effect that if you wanted to see the cutscenes, I don't judge. If you wanted to see the cutscenes, then if everyone else can see that you can skip, like if it's somehow visible, because it would be visible somehow, right? Then you're suddenly the jerk for not skipping. Like, the idea is good, it's just that in that particular aspect, like, I know I've brought up other times where I'm like, well, the thing that they're basically trying to accomplish is that they're avoiding, like, problematic encounters by disabling you from doing a thing. And yeah, that's maybe a bit much. But in this particular aspect, I'm like, we're genuinely, in a way, protecting the sprouts that might not know better. And I also stand by, and this is also what I say, that, okay, sure, if your full pre-made wants to skip the cutscenes, again, it'll just slash the rewards down to like a third or a fourth, because, well, you don't deserve that much reward. You didn't sit through it. So if you don't have any first-timers that need to sit through it, then there's no need to pay you overpay for the long duty that is no longer long, right? So, like, again, it circles back to, well, I mean, if you want it to be short, then you don't get the big payout. I feel like that's fair. Like, that makes sense. The reward is ridiculously high for the duty, relatively speaking, because it's unreasonably long. So if they implement something that allows you to not have it be ridiculously long, well, then the reward gets scaled down. I'll say Snillen. Hope you're doing well. And I also agree that it is a little awkward to have this, and then it's 3 duties. Like, it's basically a discontinued feature that has been kept around. Like, that is weird. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if at some point they just, like, out of nowhere pull the, we're making those duties into solo duties now. Wouldn't surprise me. I will, however, say that MSQ roulette is... The problem isn't with what content is in it, the problem is with its name. It shouldn't be called MSQ roulette. It's not MSQ roulette. I also agree with that, Silly. I mean, what they could do is make Castrum, Praetorium into solo duties, and then have maybe the first part of Porta de Comana also be a solo duty, and then, you know, there's the whole, this was not my intention, blah, 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 and then, you know, right at the end of the cutscene it shows Porta de Comana is now unlocked, or whatever. And then you queue for the real fight, and now that it is just the fight, they could maybe make it even more, a little bit more interesting. Like, admittedly, the second half of Porta de Comana is pretty interesting as a fight. That's also a good idea for Natos, but that would be really difficult. That would be really difficult because it would, like, it would have a similar problem to Alliance Raid Roulette, because that would mean that when you queue for MSQ Roulette, well, first of all, they wouldn't be able to make the reward this if you could get Ifrit normal there. Like, this reward is not justified for 2 minutes with Ifrit. Hey, Emir, hope you're doing well. No, I have not. The light isn't on because it was brighter earlier. But it's not too bad. I have a feeling that we will do this book and then, like, round up. Redmaster says that to this day I wonder why Odin still hasn't been added to normal trial roulette. Well, Odin is a significantly harder fight than all the other ARR non-extreme trials. It's... Let me put it like this. Odin is definitely easier than all the extremes. But he's also probably harder than most, if not all, of the hard trials. Is Odin not in Trials Roulette? No, he's not. He is not. Yep, you are thinking of Mental Roulette, because he is in Mental Roulette. Only harder part of Odin is untelegraphed tank busters. Well, I mean, that, and those tank busters also hit ridiculously hard, relatively speaking. And he also has a DPS check. Hey, Malachite. Hope you're doing well. Did you know that you can beat Odin with 3 people? Yes, I did. I imagine, Custard, that the reason why that isn't an option is because it, like, for a lot of duties, the, like, players that are queuing for it are already spread thin enough. We don't need to essentially split all the players queuing for every roulette into 2 packets on whether they want to do it minimum item level or not. Especially when a lot of duties, if done minimum item level, actually requires that you're more coordinated, which then means that you might not actually be capable of doing it with randos. So ultimately, it's probably for the best to just go, just use Party Finder. So that you can get, you know, people that are thinking. But yeah, Custard, how do you... The thing is, you can already do that. But what I'm saying, Custard, is when you, like, you might not want to do that every time. But then, when you want to do, I don't know, expert roulette, the time you have to wait to find a group is now doubled because half of the population is queuing with minimum item level turned on and the other half has not turned it on. And the game simply doesn't allow you to queue for both. And you might then say, but can't they just make it so? They probably can. It would be awesome if we could queue as multiple roles at once too, but we can't. Not many people do minimum item level. Exactly, Custard. So what I'm getting at, if we go back to what I was saying, you would increase the wait time for daily roulette so that because some people would queue for it. And if you really think about it, isn't queuing for minimum item level of a regular duty a little bit comparable to queuing for an extreme? Like, if you really think about it, it's kind of the same idea. Why not just do it in Party Finder? Then why do we allow people to queue for extremes? Indeed, why do we? But the difference here, Custard, is that with extremes there is at least the perspective of, well, it's relatively clear, don't queue for extremes, like, once you figure that out. But minimum item level queues would precisely mean, like, if you could queue for expert roulette minimum item level, some people would do that, but you said it yourself, not many people do it. is there any need to like basically splinter the player base in this particular aspect more for that? Like, my best explanation is that it just seems like an unnecessary thing. But I do understand it. I do understand it. That you'd like that. I do understand why you would like that as well. It's like, why can I not queue for the thing that I like to do? Why is there no system that supports that? Like, that makes sense. Why not? But a really solid counter-argument to it is precisely not many people do it. And then, of course, the counter-argument is, well, why can you queue for extremes then? Not many people do it. Savage queue win. I mean, people have said, can we have extreme roulette or something? Like, just straight up extreme roulette. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. Seraph, you are able to queue for savage duties. You can do that. I'm pretty sure. Now, don't see why you would. Oh, wait a minute. I'm only synced to level 52 for this one. Fantastic. Leyline, say woot woot. Noot noot. See, Ilana says you'd wait for an eternity though, if you queued for it. Yep, and then Custard says I don't mind waiting eternity. Then you would actually benefit more from just putting up Party Finder. Like, genuinely, that is exactly the point, is that once we reach that level, immediately it becomes, well, it would actually make more sense to just post up in Party Finder at that point. Like, that is also part of the reason why people often go, can't you just like post up in Party Finder for extremes? Like, if that's what you want to do, can't you do that instead? Because it would be more efficient, just in general. And that is also kind of the same sort of argument as to why you wouldn't be able to queue for minimum item level duties, because any context where that would make sense, it would make more sense to just post up in Party Finder. Like, case in point, it's not like you can queue for Silence Echo either, or like limited leveling roulette is also disabled unless you have a pre-made, which is also weird, isn't it? Jose Tinithorpe, hope you're doing well. What is limited leveling? Oh, well, when you have a full pre-made of 4 players, if you enable this, and you can read it right there, if you enable this, then when you queue for leveling roulette, only leveling roulette, it will choose from, as you can see here, like a level range of 8 levels below the lowest level player in your group. It'll look for duties there, but it'll only work if there's at least 2 duties in that level range that everyone has unlocked. But you need to be 4 players, which means that essentially the complaint of why is it that when I queue for leveling roulette I have to land in Sastasha? Well, that's because you didn't bring 3 friends. And exactly, Eva. The reason being that it reduces that splintering that we talked about. I feel like, Costa, that you heard half of what I said and then you just went into dreaming mode. It only works for limited. It only works for leveling roulette. It only works for this one. All the other ones doesn't work. That's why it's called limited leveling roulette. It's not called limited roulette. It's called limited leveling roulette. Gazul says, I've heard that some people genuinely don't like the awkwardness of chatting with people when they wait for the party finder to be filled. So if both are just waiting, they pick duty finder. Yeah, I can get that. I can understand that. That is also something that can fall in and be awkward with posting a party finder group. Is that you're in this position where it's like, well, if I make the group, then I feel like I have to stay. So what if I change my mind? That now I'm the jerk. And things like that. But yeah, it's essentially like the big problem is that enabling all of these modifiers and adjustments to queues would mean that suddenly you're split in 2 packets or 3 packets or 4 packets. Like, consider if limited leveling roulette was something you could enable and minimum item level also was something you could enable without a full pre-made, then with just these 2 options available for queuing, you already have 4 different packets, because you would have people that have neither enabled. You would have those that have limited leveling roulette enabled, you would have those that have minimum item level enabled, and you would have those that have both enabled. And that's just 4 different packages, and again, a lot of those players, if they were told, if you just turn off minimum item level, or if you just turn off limited leveling roulette, you would land in a duty right now. But they wouldn't know that. And, like, simply, the game is just, like, queuing systems are generally not sophisticated enough to bother with that. So, basically, on the one hand, Custard, no, there isn't a problem with mixing, but let me put it like this. And I know that you're probably going to say, yeah, I'm fine with that, because you basically said that before. Imagine if every queue... Imagine if Genie comes out of the lamp, whoop, and you just wish for this. You just wish, I wish that I could queue for minimum item level in any duty without being a pre-made. And also the same for leveling roulette. And then you queue for something and you realize that everything you queue for now has basically plus 5 minutes added to it. Less than 5 minutes queue time is no longer a thing unless you're playing the thing that is in need. Then maybe you'll get a queue immediately. That's the problem with mixing. Also, hey Bondi, hope you're doing well. Isn't that usually DPS queue? See, Custard, take that, right? DPS queue is kinda long. And then remember that if you splinter all the tanks and healers into 4 other buckets, now the DPS queue is 2 or 3 times as long. Can you see how that would be a problem? Can you see how that would be a problem? I say, JK, hope you're doing well. Mixing implies most... I don't think you understand, Custard. If I queue like this, Looking at the screen? Then it means if I could do that, that I would be paired with 3 other players. When I queue for leveling roulette, I would be paired with 3 other players that chose this. Precisely this. If it mixes me with people that didn't choose this, then what's the point of this option? If you choose, I would like to do a minimum item level duty, and then the roulette just goes, meh, well, we couldn't find a group for that, so here you go. And gives you something else. Then what's the point? Exactly, Dark Phoenix. It's an and, not an or. It's not, I could do it minimum item level. It's, I want to do it minimum item level. Arguably, we could have a system where you could have a either or, like you just have like a third option if you click it again, where it just goes, if there's an option for that. And that might fix it. But you know what would probably happen? There are some players that will tell you to queue like this. Custard, Party Finder is your advanced search. And that is your advanced search. But the reason why people say to queue like this is because it reduces your queue time. If going maybe on leveling roulette reduced your queue time, then people would say to do that. And then they would complain when someone didn't turn it on. And if minimum item level being on maybe reduced your queue time, then people would turn it to that and then complain when they land in an actually minimum item level duty because they didn't actually want that, but they wanted to get in a duty. A little bit like how people will queue for mentor roulette and then complain that someone queued for an extreme, which is technically on the list. When people choose maybe when that is offered, most of the time they choose maybe not because they don't care, but because it is an advantage to choose it. So I don't think it would be optimal to try and find a way to make these things queuable. I also feel like Party Finder is a good enough option. Darkrin says, what exactly is the problem with the roulettes? As far as I've seen, the only issue with normal roulettes is that less people want to play healer or tank for obvious reasons. So I see Party Finders every single day of people that are just doing roulettes together. There you go. I don't actually see that much, but I don't actually check that much. So I don't know. But I have seen that. People just posting up. I don't think Custard is trolling. But Custard is asking questions to learn to understand these things, I think. But I would say if you want to do more minimum item level stuff, Custard, post up in Party Finder. Ask people you know. They might want to entertain it. I might be in a convenient position where I have a little bit of an advantage here, but I mean, I posted up in my Discord server and said, does 3 people want to do something really stupid? And I almost immediately got 3 answers, and then we did Vanguard with only like a 10th of our toolkits for a video. So just bring a camera. I guess it's the lesson. Just bring a camera. Thank you, Aridel. Also, Emir said, I love the... what was it Emir said earlier was... casually flashbanging himself will never not be funny. Fantastic. It's getting quite dark. It was brighter an hour ago. Felder's Vanguard is insanely cursed for me every single time. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure either, and I've also noticed that Vanguard seems weirdly... Well, actually, there is a possible explanation for that. As I understand, there was, because there was some rebalancing, but there was something about Aglaya being an extremely effective way to level up to 97, after which Vanguard would be better. So maybe that's the reason why I feel like Vanguard is more popular than other dungeons? The level 99 dungeon is more cursed? I don't know. Let's just say that almost every time I've gotten Vanguard as a healer, there's something weird with the tank. Consistently. For some reason. That's correct, Darkrin, but the XP given by those by Alliance raids are based on that level, and it turned out that Aglaya especially gave a lot of XP for clearing, and you could clear it reasonably fast, which made it, in particular if you're wearing the, I don't know if I have it on me, the leveling earring, it worked because the XP bonus, I talk about this in my leveling guide, the XP boosting items like the brand new ring and the various earrings, they are fully functional if you get synced to the level that they're appropriate for. They don't care that you're actually a higher level than that, so using the Dawntrail pre-order earring would make Aglaya 30% more effective. And that was the case that everything combined made it better to do Aglaya, especially up to level 97. So when you hit 97, you did Vanguard. Vanguard is more efficient than level 99 dungeon? Oh, well, there you go. That would explain it. Now, it is getting quite dark. I actually did bring, like, I have a lamp that I grabbed from my living room when I'm streaming, and I was like, it was really bright, so I was like, it's a little weird to, like, pull down the blinds and then turn on the light. I will just look completely red, as I sometimes do, when the sun is there and also lights. So I didn't turn anything on. That's also why the door is like that, because when it's at that angle, it doesn't reflect the sun too hard, so it's not too bad. So I basically did lighting work with a door, but I had the anticipation that I would be done before the sun went completely down. And now you can see the flickering of my camera because it's so dark. Oh, the thing is, Phil, the 99 dungeon almost certainly gives more XP than Vanguard, but Vanguard is 2 packs wall, 2 packs wall, boss, 2 packs wall, 2 packs wall, boss, 2 packs wall, 2 packs wall, boss. And Origenics is not that. It has a lot of spots where it's like 2 packs, 1 pack, 1 pack, a boss. Which takes a lot of time. And that means that Origenics has a tendency to be longer. And if Origenics doesn't give enough more XP than Vanguard to compensate for that, then Vanguard can be slightly more efficient. Possibility of Unreal dungeons? I mean, that sounds like a fun idea. And you suggest Aurum Vale, you might be suggesting that, thinking that I'll be like, anything but that, but I like Aurum Vale. Because I'm crazy like that. Phil says it depends on how much XP you need, I'd say. That's true. If you needed enough, like, the question is, how many runs of Vanguard do you need versus how many runs of Origenics do you need? And if you're level 99... If If you're level 99, then there it is. And also, that is a good point, Steven. But that is exactly the thing, which is why I focused on, well, how many runs do you have to do? Because it's possible that you would have, like, exactly the cutoff where you'd have to do Vanguard an extra time. But yeah, like, personally, I've leveled most of my jobs by doing what I think is most fun. What if Unreal Dungeons was 1.x dungeons? Oh boy. Duncan says, Oran Vale isn't a difficult dungeon, it's the players that make or break it. That is true. And I agree, Mongo. I agree. That's the kind of stuff that has led me to say I want, like, harder versions of dungeons. Because I don't, like, we have Savage content, we have extreme content, but it would be nice if we had, like, harder versions of dungeons that didn't become Savage raids in terms of difficulty, things like that. Doing things in the game that are fun, what nonsense is this? I know, right? But, that said, before I become completely that cat going like, from the brightness of my screen, I do think this is a nice time to, oh, I just made it even brighter on myself. Fantastic. If you enjoyed this particular stream, it helps me a lot if you leave a like on it here on YouTube. That tells the algorithm this was an enjoyable stream. I'd like other people to enjoy it as well, so thank you so much in advance. And if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link in the chat right there. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is happening in the coming days. I usually update it Sunday or Monday. You'll also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams when I put them out. And if you grab the reminder role in the role assignments room, you'll get a notification whenever I post a video or stream, as well as an extra one around 15 minutes before stream starts, so you can catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can become a member of the channel, you can gift memberships, you can use the super chat system, or if you don't like any of that, there's a Ko-Fi link in the chat that Ardell posted right there. It all helps support the channel and me directly so that I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. But I think that'll be it for tonight, but I have a feeling that I'll probably work on this project of a black mage around the Born Relic on stream. I was wanting to do that on my own because I really want that relic, because I really want to play black mage more, but I'll wait for all of you and we'll do it on stream. We'll do it live. And I hope you'll be there for it. Apparently a lot of people were. Well, thank you all so much for that. I wasn't sure if people would be super excited to watch me do this, but hey, fantastic. But that'll be all from me tonight. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye.